The world watched in horror as Los Angeles burned. Thick, suffocating smoke choked the city as wildfires ravaged homes and swallowed forests. Over 350,000 acres were reduced to ash, a devastating expanse nearly the size of Los Angeles itself. Flames consumed more than 1,500 homes, leaving thousands of families displaced, their lives reduced to rubble. News outlets showed endless clips of families clutching what little they could carry, tattered photo albums, cherished keepsakes, while the rest of their lives went up in flames. Children cried for their lost pets, their innocent faces streaked with soot and tears, while exhausted firefighters battled infernos that refused to die. The death toll rose steadily, with dozens of lives lost and countless others injured. Over 4,000 firefighters worked tirelessly, risking their lives as the fire devoured everything in its path. The air was thick, not just with smoke, but with the collective grief of a city brought to its knees. Shelters overflowed with people who had nowhere else to turn, their faces etched with the shock of losing everything they had ever known. It wasn't just homes or forests that burned. It was dreams, memories, and entire lifetimes turned to ash. The flames showed no mercy, and the people of Los Angeles were left clinging to hope like a lifeline in the darkness. It was chaos, a nightmare no one could wake up from. Barron Trump, the youngest son of the former president, had been following the tragedy from his home in Florida. A quiet and thoughtful young man, he felt a strange pull in his heart as he watched a family on TV standing helplessly in front of their destroyed home. A little girl, no older than 6, clung to her mother, sobbing for her doll lost in the fire. Barron turned off the television, his chest tight with emotion. He wasn't just sad, he was angry. Why did this have to happen? Why couldn't someone do more? He looked out the window at the calm skies above Mar-a-Lago and felt a pang of guilt. While he sat in comfort, countless families had nothing left. "Mom," he said softly, "I need to do something. Anything." Melania Trump turned to her son, her eyes scanning his face. "What do you have in mind, Barron?" That night, Barron couldn't sleep. His mind was restless, replaying scenes of destruction he had seen on the news. It wasn't just buildings or trees that burned. It was people's lives, dreams, and memories. He paced his room, his tall frame casting a shadow in the moonlight. Finally, he dropped to his knees by the bed and clasped his hands together. "God," he whispered, his voice trembling, "please help those people in Los Angeles. Please give them strength. Protect the firefighters and the families. Let them know they're not alone." His prayer was simple, but it carried the weight of a young heart desperate to make a difference. What Barron didn't realize was that his words, spoken in the quiet of his room, would soon ripple far beyond those walls. His mother, standing quietly at the door, had heard every word. Her heart swelled with pride and sorrow. She stepped away, careful not to disturb him, and made a call to a close friend in the media. "We need to share this," she said. "The world needs to hear his prayer." The next morning, Barron woke up to find his name trending online. Videos of him praying had gone viral, shared by news outlets and social media influencers alike. The public reaction was overwhelmingly positive. People praised his compassion, calling him a beacon of hope in a dark time. But for Barron, this wasn't enough. He didn't want to be a trending topic. He wanted to help. "Mom, can we go to Los Angeles?" he asked during breakfast. Melania hesitated. It wasn't an easy decision. Traveling to a disaster zone, especially with Barron's public profile, would require a high level of security. Still, she saw the determination in her son's eyes. "Let me make some calls," she said. By the afternoon, plans were in motion. Barron would visit shelters and meet with victims. Secret Service agents worked around the clock to ensure his safety, while the media buzzed with anticipation. As the private jet soared westward, Barron stared out the window, the smoke from the fires visible even from the air. He silently repeated his prayer, knowing this was just the beginning of something much bigger than himself. The plane landed at a private airport in Los Angeles, under heavy security. Barron, dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans, stepped off the jet, his heart heavy with anticipation. The smell of smoke lingered in the air, even miles away from the active fires. He was escorted to a shelter where dozens of families had taken refuge. The gymnasium-turned-shelter was filled with cots, crying children and adults trying to hold themselves together. As Barron walked in, the room quieted. Some recognized him immediately and whispered among themselves. A small boy, no older than 8, approached him, his face smeared with ash and tears. "Are you here to help us?" the boy asked, clutching a stuffed animal with a missing ear. Barron knelt down to the boy's level, his voice soft but steady. "I'm here to listen, to pray, and to let you know you're not alone." The boy's mother, standing nearby, burst into tears and hugged Barron tightly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for caring." Barron's eyes welled up, but he held back his tears. He knew he had to stay strong. For them. As Barron moved through the shelter, he listened to story after story of loss and heartbreak. An elderly couple shared how they'd lost their home of 50 years. A teenager described the fear of running from the flames with her baby sister in her arms. But it was the story of a little girl named Lily that hit Barron the hardest. She sat quietly on her cot, holding a photograph of her family's golden retriever, Max, who had gone missing in the chaos. "I just want Max back," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "He's my best friend." Barron sat beside her, his heart breaking. "Lily," he said gently, "I can't promise anything, but I'll do everything I can to help you find Max." Her eyes lit up with a spark of hope, and for the first time she smiled. It was a small moment, but it fueled Barron's determination. He turned to his security team, whispering instructions. They immediately began coordinating with rescue teams to search for lost pets in the area. That evening, as the sun set behind a hazy red sky, Barron stood outside the shelter. A group of victims had gathered, drawn by the quiet strength he seemed to exude. "Barron, would you pray with us?" someone asked. He nodded, humbled by their request. Standing in the center of the circle, he took a deep breath. Feeling the weight of the moment, he began, his voice steady but emotional. "Thank you for bringing us together tonight. Please watch over everyone affected by these fires. Give them strength, hope, and comfort. Bless the firefighters and rescue teams risking their lives to help others. And please, Lord, let these families know they're not alone. Amen." As he finished, the crowd echoed, "Amen," their voices trembling with emotion. Many had tears streaming down their faces, and even Barron couldn't hold back anymore. One man, his hands rough from days of fighting the flames, stepped forward and placed a hand on Barron's shoulder. "It gave us something we thought we lost," he said. Hope. Early the next morning, Barron received a message that rescue teams had found several pets wandering in areas affected by the fire. One of the dogs matched the description of Max, the golden retriever. Barron wasted no time. Along with his security detail, he headed to the rescue center. The scene was chaotic, volunteers working tirelessly to care for scared and injured animals. As he approached the kennels, Barron saw a golden retriever sitting in the corner of a cage, his fur singed but his tail wagging weakly. "Is that Max?" Barron asked, showing the staff the photograph Lily had given him. The staff confirmed it was a match, and Barron felt a wave of relief wash over him. He immediately arranged for Max to be transported to the shelter. When they arrived, Barron led Max inside, the dog barking joyfully at the sight of Lily. The little girl's eyes widened, and she ran toward Max, throwing her arms around him. "Max, you're okay," she cried, tears streaming down her face. The entire shelter erupted in applause and cheers, but Barron quietly stepped back, letting the moment belong to Lily and her beloved dog. As word of Barron's visit spread, more reporters began to gather outside the shelter. Most were respectful, capturing the moments of hope and unity without intruding, but one reporter managed to catch Barron during a quiet moment. "Barron," she asked, "you're still a teenager. Why are you here when most people your age wouldn't think twice about staying home?" Barron paused, his brow furrowing as he considered his words. "Because I couldn't just watch and do nothing," he said simply. "These are real people with real pain, and if I can make even one person feel less alone, it's worth it." The reporter nodded, visibly moved by his sincerity. "What do you hope others take away from your visit here?" she asked. "That we all have the power to make a difference," Barron replied. "Whether it's a prayer, a kind word, or a small act of kindness, it matters. It all matters." His words went viral within hours, with people around the world praising his maturity and compassion. Barron's visit wasn't just about offering comfort, it was about inspiring action. He worked with local organizations to set up a fundraiser for the victims, using his growing platform to encourage donations. During a live-streamed event at the shelter, Barron spoke directly to the camera. "I've met people here who have lost everything," he said, his voice steady but emotional. "But they haven't lost their hope. We can be part of their hope by helping them rebuild their lives." Donations began pouring in, small amounts from kids donating their allowance, larger contributions from celebrities and philanthropists moved by Barron's words. As the live stream ended, Barron looked out at the crowd of shelter residents. "You're not alone," he told them. "We're in this together." Tears filled the eyes of many, and some began chanting, "Thank you, Barron." For the first time, Barron felt a sense of peace. He wasn't just watching tragedy unfold. He was helping to write a story of hope and resilience. As the fundraiser gained traction, Barron decided to spend time with the firefighters who were risking their lives on the front lines. Clad in protective gear and escorted by his security team, he visited a fire station at the edge of the evacuation zone. The firefighters were exhausted, their faces streaked with soot and sweat. One of them, Captain Ramirez, shared his story. "I've been a firefighter for 20 years, he began, his voice gravelly from the smoke. "But I've never seen anything like this. We've lost colleagues, friends, but we keep going because people depend on us." Barron listened intently, his eyes filled with respect. "What can we do to help you?" he asked. Captain Ramirez smiled faintly. "Just keep reminding people why we fight these fires. Remind them that behind every house we save, there's a family who gets to stay together." Barron nodded, moved by the captain's words. He asked his security team to arrange a delivery of supplies, water, energy drinks, and snacks to the station. It wasn't much, but the gratitude in the firefighters' eyes made it clear that even small gestures mattered. The next day, Barron received a handwritten letter from a woman named Sarah, who had been evacuated with her 2 young children. "Dear Barron," the letter began, "I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I wanted to thank you. My kids cried tears of joy when they saw you praying for us on TV. It reminded us that someone cared, even when we felt forgotten. Your visit gave us strength to keep going." Barron read the letter twice, his throat tightening with emotion. He shared the letter during another live stream, saying, "This isn't about me, it's about all of us coming together to make a difference." Sarah's letter is a reminder that kindness can change lives. The letter went viral, inspiring more people to donate to the fundraiser. Comments poured in from people around the world, sharing their own stories of hope and resilience. Barron's quiet determination had sparked a movement of compassion that extended far beyond Los Angeles. As his motorcade pulled away, Barron looked back, the faces of hope and resilience forever etched in his memory. Back home, Barron's efforts continued to inspire. The fundraiser he helped launch surpassed expectations, raising millions for wildfire victims. Social media was flooded with messages of gratitude and admiration for his humility and compassion. One tweet stood out: "Barron Trump has shown us what leadership looks like, not from a podium, but from the heart. Thank you for reminding us of the power of kindness." Barron used his platform to share updates on the recovery process. Videos of homes being rebuilt and families reuniting with lost pets brought hope to millions. He even hosted a virtual town hall with first responders, giving them a chance to share their experiences and thank the public for their support. Through it all, Barron remained humble. "It's not about me," he said during an interview. "It's about the people who never gave up, even when everything seemed lost." Months later, Barron returned to Los Angeles to visit the same families he had met during the wildfires. This time, the scene was different. Homes were being rebuilt. Children were playing in newly restored parks, and laughter filled the air. He visited Lily, who proudly showed him a scrapbook of pictures featuring Max and her family's new home. "You helped us find our way back," she said, hugging him tightly. Barron also reunited with Captain Ramirez, who presented him with a firefighter's helmet as a token of appreciation. "You gave us hope when we needed it most," the captain said. As Barron prepared to leave once more, the community gathered to thank him. They presented him with a plaque that read, "To Barron Trump, a light in the darkness." Tears filled Barron's eyes as he accepted it. "You've given me more than I could ever give you," he said. "Thank you for teaching me what it means to truly care." As the sun set, Barron looked out over the rebuilt neighborhood, his heart full. As Barron boarded the plane to return home, he looked back at the city of Los Angeles, still scarred by the wildfires but beginning to heal. The memories of the people he met, their tears, their courage, and their unwavering hope would stay with him forever. For Barron, this wasn't just a journey to help. It was a journey that changed him. He saw firsthand the power of compassion, the strength of community, and the resilience of the human spirit. The wildfires may have left behind devastation, but they also sparked something extraordinary, a reminder that even in the darkest times, light can shine through acts of kindness. Barron's simple prayer in the quiet of his room grew into a movement that touched hearts across the world. It showed that no matter our age or background, we all have the power to make a difference. As you reflect on this story, ask yourself, what small act can I do today to bring hope to someone in need? Perhaps it's a kind word, a helping hand, or even sharing this video to inspire others. Every gesture, no matter how small, creates ripples of change. If Barron's journey moved you, share your thoughts in the comments below. What part of his story resonated with you the most? Have you ever experienced or witnessed an act of kindness that made a lasting impact? Let's create a space to share hope and positivity. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story of hope and resilience. Together we can spread these messages far and wide. Remember, kindness is contagious, and with each act, we bring the world a little closer to the light. Thank you for watching, and let's keep the spirit of hope alive.